and welcome back. I'm Kath Lloyd and I'm continuing my little series on raw chocolate making. So I've already shown you how to make a slab of chocolate, and today I'm going to start adding in some flavourings. Okay, so today's speciality is going to be peppermint raw chocolate. And I'm going to make a little slab and then some little heart-shaped chocolates. So I'm going to get my hands washed and we will get cracking. See you shortly. Okay, so let's get cracking on our chocolate making. So to make about 150 ml of liquid chocolate, you are going to need 100 grams of cacao butter that I am going to put in my Pyrex dish in the water to melt down the old-fashioned way. Okay, you are going to need 6 rounded tablespoons of cacao powder. So this is what I use. Okay, 7 Hills, and it is vegan. I'm just going to turn this gas down a little bit, at least we're going a little bit wild. And sorry, the cacao powder and the cacao butter are both from 7 Hills and they're both vegan as well. Then to sweeten it, I use maple syrup. Okay, you're going to need a little bit of salt just to bring out the flavour. And then today I am going to be using the doTERRA peppermint essential oil to give it that lovely peppermint flavour. Now I have experimented with using the you know, your shop bought food flavourings. I'm just going to give this butter a little stir. You can see it's melting away quite nicely. And your flavour is going to be a lot stronger with this. You're going to need about 4 or 5 times the amount of shop bought food flavourings than you are with this this brand of essential oil. Now I use doTERRA. That's the postman. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, now I use doTERRA because I know it is safe to be able to consume. If you use other essential oils, then you must check before you use it. Okay, but I know this is safe. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to finish melting this cacao butter. Then we're going to add in the extra. Now, just so that, oh yes, this is absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to put it in my chocolate and then eat it afterwards. So we will just let this butter melt and then we will continue making. So I've got ready here, I've got my tray with my baking paper or parchment paper in here. Okay, and then I'm going to use this little silicone mould, all right, that are fantastic for great little shapes. Okay, now the reason why I'm doing a slab and the shapes, all right, is because 1, these look really pretty on a plate, but 2, I want a slab of chocolate because I'm going to be doing something a little bit different with my slabs of chocolate, and it's easier to make it now while I've got the flavour you know, in the chocolate, rather than start making lots and lots of different flavours in one fell swoop. So that is beautifully melted now. And I'm just putting a cloth down because the bowl is going to be very wet, just to protect my work surface. I'm going to turn my gas off and, oh, that's not too warm. And there you are, you've got your beautiful melted cacao butter. Okay, so now I'm going to add my 6 rounded tablespoons of sieved cacao butter. Okay, now don't be tempted to put more in than you need, because it will go thick very, very quickly and it'll be difficult to do anything with. Okay, now you can use a sieve, a whisk to mix it in, but I just find the more tools I use, the more the chocolate's going to get spread elsewhere than in your moulds. So just make sure you give it a good stir, and you can see it mixing in really, really nicely. Okay, so 2 more then, and we've got our 6 tablespoons. Okay, now making chocolate is a fairly messy business, so always have something available to put your tools on. Okay, just to make cleaning up a little bit easier for yourself. Give it a really good stir in. Make sure you get all your cacao butter that will have dropped to the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to add my salt. So just to bring out the flavour, so 1, 2, I'm going to put 3 squidges of salt in. I don't know what other word to use except squidges, so perhaps somebody can tell me the right word for that. And then I'm going to add my maple syrup. Okay, now for this amount of chocolate, you're going to be putting in about 2 to 4 tablespoons of maple syrup, and this is really down to personal choice about how sweet you like your chocolate. For example, my husband is very keen on dark chocolate that's really quite bitter, so you know, in my experience, I've found that 2 tablespoons is adequate for us. So it just depends on your taste and the taste of your friends and your family. Okay, give it another good stir in. And you can see, you might be able to see that it's already thickening up quite quickly. Okay, so now we're going to add in the peppermint. Okay, now it is very much to taste. Again, I like quite a strong flavour. So I'm just going to start off by adding 4 drops to see what it tastes like. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Give it a good stir up. And then that's tasting quite nice. I'm going to add 2 more drops because I do like it very pepperminty. So 1, 2, lovely. And give it another stir. So that's 6 drops of peppermint oil to 1 batch. Okay, now if you were using food flavourings, then you'd be adding perhaps 30 to 40 drops. Okay, so you can see the difference. Okay, now then I'm going to pop some of this into a jug. I found some nice little jugs with measures on the inside, and it just means I can see how much I'm using. And I'm going to start pouring, and also in the little jug it makes it so much easier to pour your chocolate in, less messy. Pour it into my moulds. You can see, you might be able to see that it's already thickening up. Quite quickly. And a little one there. Okay, now the rest I'm going to put into this tray. So I'm just going to scrape the excess off with my spatula and waste none of it, or very, very little. And then again. And the reason why I have a piece of baking paper in is because it just makes it so much easier for taking the chocolate out afterwards. Okay. And I always try and keep a lip on the baking parchment so that when you move it around a bit near the edge there, you're not going to lose it into the rest of the... And so now I've got the chocolate in the tray. I've got both of my chocolate arrangements, you could say, on the tray, and I'm going to put them in the fridge and leave them for at least an hour so that you don't ruin the shape, that lovely smooth shape you're going to get on your heart-shaped chocolates to present to your friends and your family. So I will see you shortly. Okay, so now we have our beautifully cooled chocolates, our slab and our little heart shapes. Now what I'm actually going to do is this slab of chocolate I'm going to break up and put into a freezer bag. I've already labelled it because, and this is from experience with me putting stuff in the freezer, once you've got all the fridge, once you've got all your chocolate broken up, unless you start opening the bag and tasting it all, of course, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between the chocolates. So I am going to actually break that up and put it into that bag to keep it safe so that I can do other things with it at a later date. And then my other little heart shapes should pop out of their little moulds very, very easily. And they're looking perfect. Sometimes you can get little air bubbles, especially if you whisk it too much. So just stirring your chocolate. See, that one hasn't come out quite so nicely, has it there? But when your friends and your family taste these chocolates, they are not going to mind the little imperfections. And then I'm just going to decorate it with a little bit of mint from out of my garden. And also another little tip, just give your mint a little bit of a rinse under the tap to get all the little creepy crawlies off. And there you have a nice little arrangement of peppermint chocolate treats to enjoy, savour and share.